I remember the first time I looked at our numbers and thought, man, we're actually winning at this. It was 2020, the world was upside down, and somehow my wife and I had done the unthinkable. We'd reached the point of having zero debt. House paid off, cars paid off, emergency fund. Locked in. Baby step 7. I mean, that's the promised land, right? That's the moment you expect sunshine and angels singing. And for a second, it felt like that. But then the world opened back up. And that's where the story actually begins, because the moment everything started reopening. The restaurants, the airports, the cruise lines, something in us switched back on. It was like we'd been cooped up for so long that every impulse felt justified. Every trip felt deserved. And every shiny new thing felt like a reward for surviving the pandemic. I'd love to tell you that we resisted. I really would. But nope, we leaned into it hard. It started small. Hey, let's take a quick trip. Nothing major. Then it became, hey, this Mercedes looks kinda nice. Before long, I wasn't even pretending to resist anymore. I was basically sprinting toward the starting line like, let's run this marathon again, baby. And you want to know the worst part? We knew better. We weren't clueless. We weren't struggling. We weren't uninformed. We just let everything go because it felt good. Next thing you know, I'm sitting there with almost 30 grand in credit card debt. Zero interest, sure, but still debt. Then a car lease. Then a car loan for one of our kids. Then another. We were literally buying cars like they were sneakers. One for you, one for you. Everybody gets a car, except we don't own a car company. We're just the parents who got too comfortable. And here's where it gets embarrassing. We make good money. She brings in about 170. I make around 115. Together, right around 300 grand a year. And somehow, magically, we still manage to fall backwards into debt like we were amateurs. People hear that number and assume we live in some luxury wonderland. But honestly, having money without discipline is like having a Ferrari with no steering wheel. You're not driving, you're sliding sideways into a wall. The funny thing is, we had more peace when we had less stuff. Back in 2020, when we were stuck at home, nowhere to go, forced to live simply, we were calmer, more grounded. We slept better. We fought less. Money wasn't a constant. Background static. Life felt steady. But as soon as the world opened up, we treated it like someone unlocked the pantry and we were hungry toddlers. And then came the cruel twist. I stopped getting paid. Government shutdown. No paycheck for a month. And that's when reality slapped me in the face harder than any financial guru ever could. For the first time, I had to look at my wife's income and realize, wait a second, we can actually survive on just her. Check. And suddenly, everything felt stupid. All the trips, all the toys, all the swiping. We weren't victims of the world opening up. We were victims of our own impulses. The wildest part, if we simply acted like grown-ups for a few months, we could wipe everything out. We could have this entire mess cleaned up in 90 days. Maybe less. But that's the thing no one likes to admit about money. It's not about what you earn. It's about what you allow. And I had been allowing everything. I had been allowing impulse, allowing excuses, allowing that voice that says, you deserve this, even when I knew I didn't, allowing my wants to outrun my wisdom. And look, I love travel. I love nice things. I love that feeling of boarding a plane or getting behind the wheel of a new car. But wanting something doesn't make it smart, and having money doesn't make it affordable. And the part that stings the most? We've got kids. Kids who watch everything. Kids who absorb how we live more than what we say. What was I teaching them? That the moment life gives you breathing room, you should fill it with payments. That when you finally build something stable, you should knock it down and start over. Nah, that's not what I want for them. Somewhere in all of this chaos, I realized something more important than the debt or the cars or the trips. I realized I wanted to choose peace over excitement, stability over impulse, responsibility over the quick dopamine hit of spending. And that's why I'm telling this story. Because you might make $30, K or $300,000, doesn't matter. If you don't get real with yourself, your money will always outrun you. And if you don't put boundaries in place, there will always be another cruise ship, another sale, another new model, another reason to spend what you don't need to spend. For us, the big shift wasn't just deciding to pay off the debt. It was deciding to grow up, to stop blaming the world reopening, to stop blaming the city we live in, to stop blaming the temptations, and to start taking ownership. So here's where we are now. We're living on one check. We're throwing the other check straight at the debt. We're cutting out the noise, the trips, the unnecessary spending. We're choosing to build instead of reset. And for the first time in a while, I feel that peace. Again, not because the debt is gone, not because everything is fixed, but because the direction is right, because we're finally acting with intention. If you take anything from my story, let it be this: you can have fun, you can travel, you can enjoy your money, but do it in order. Do it with a plan, do it with discipline, because peace isn't something you buy, it's something you protect. And this time, we're protecting it.